Hello and welcome again. We will now going to take this project to the next step, where we will going to be implementing some more details to the State of Wisconsin website, as we are creating this website that comprises of 3 pages: history, geography, and sports. So now let's start with the CSS file and start making some more changes. Let's say if you would like to change the font size. In order to change the font size, we will going to be using one of these units of measurements. So we can be coming to paragraph. Let's say if we want the font size of the paragraph to change, we'll say, okay, we would like the font size to be, the default is 12 points. If you want to go smaller, just so that you can see if it actually reduces the size. So I'm going down from 12 to 10. And here we can see in the output, here it is right now, okay? And it goes smaller than what it was before. So now let me try with something larger. Let's say if I want it to be 14 points. So this is the same site. If I refresh, now you can see it goes larger in size. So that's one of the things that you can control, and you can use any of these units. You can use points, pixels, inches, centimeters, millimeters, picas. You can use any one of these absolute units. Second of all, if I want to take away from my heading to the bold, because by default headings are bold, and in HTML that's a default property, so I can use the font weight property, which is generally used to bold something that's not bold, and give it a value of normal. So when I do that, you can see this is my current output, where sports appears a little bit darker. As I refresh this, notice it appears now without bold effect. Second of all, what I can do is I can overwrite the default size of the font for the H2, and I can say, well, I want the font size for H2 to be 24 points. So now what happens as a result, as I refresh, you can see the size of the sports is larger than what was before. So this was the original H2 size, as you can see in geography, and this is the size that we have it now, which is 24 points. So you can literally control a lot of properties that way. And then there are some known constants that you can use with, for example, if I want my font size, instead of 14 points, I want it to be large. I can literally do that, and as I refresh, you can see it's different in size. It's smaller than 14 points, but it's actually a little bit larger than what was before. Similarly, if I come to my footer and I say, okay, I want my footer's font size to be extra small. So I can pretty much refresh, and you can see the size of my footer is extra small versus what was before in the other page. You can see the difference very, very clearly. So as far as the name sizes are concerned, we have extra small, which is x hyphen small. We have xx hyphen small, which is extra extra small. We have small, we have large, we have extra large, extra extra large. These are the known sizes that we have. So that's another way to pretty much go about giving font sizes to your fonts. Similarly, you can control the line spacings in the paragraph, which is generally done with the help of the property called line height. And now notice, if I give a line height which is very small, let's say if I give 5 points, okay? Now generally you would not do this, but just so that you can see what's the effect of that, see how things are squished? They're very, very squished. So instead of controlling these kind of properties with the known or absolute font sizes, we sometimes use relative font sizes like EX or EM. So if I would like to give one EM, where EM is a relative unit, which is pretty much used with the context of current. One EM means whatever is the current. So that's one EM. So EM means current. One EM means 1 times the size of the current. So you can see this is what it is. Naturally giving the space between the paragraphs. So if I go with 2 EM, that means twice the current. So this is twice the current. As you can see the difference. This is twice the current and this is current. Twice the current. So you can see how things are spaced out. Or you can say, okay, I want to go 1.5 off the current. So 1.5 times the current, so this is line spacing of 1.5 times. So that's how you can be controlling the line height within the paragraph. And this effect will going to be carrying over throughout your site. So it's not like it's on one page. So here you can see the history, the geography, the sports, they all take the same effect. So that's a line height effect that you can give to control the height of the line. So here, so far, we have looked at the font size and we have looked at the line height. Similarly, you can control another property called letter spacing, that how you want things to be spread out. So if I want my heading to be spread out, I can say, well, I want to space out the letters in my heading, and I want them to be spaced out 4 pixels. So each letter will have a spacing of 4 pixels. So this is how it looks like now, and now it's spaced out. So this is how it looked like before, it's now spaced out. You can increase or decrease the spacing. Similarly, let's say if I want it to be 6 pixel spacing for the heading 1, and for the heading 2, I want the letter spacing to be 4 pixels. Now, let's see the difference. So as you can see, the geography is spaced out, but state of Wisconsin is spaced out more. So that's pretty much how you can be controlling the letter spacing of different components within the page, not just the headings. Next, we're going to be changing the font face, which is done with the help of a CSS property called font family. So let's say if I want to change the font family of my paragraph to serif. Now that's a font family which has a lot of fonts in it. It's a very, very generic name, serif. So here I have my sports page, and this is the default. As I refresh, it doesn't make any changes because the default is serif. Now let's try sans serif. Sans serif family. So now let me refresh here, and you can see that there's a change right in the font of the paragraph, but only paragraph alone. So sans serif is a very generic font family. So same as monospace, same as cursive. So cursive is another one. So let me try cursive here. Okay, these are all generic family names. But now let's try to go a little bit more specific. But the problem is that in HTML you could only be giving one family or one font to any text. Here in CSS you can actually prioritize from specific to generic. So Georgia is a bit of a specific one as compared to serif. So here you can see that this is Georgia, the Georgia font. So if the Georgia font is not available to the browser, then it will going to fall back to serif, which is the default font. So that's how you can be controlling the look and feel. And you're not limited to 2. You can actually be listing 3 or maybe more fonts based on whatever your choice is. So for example, for my heading 1, if I want to go with, let's say, Copperplate or Verdana. So I can actually list them in order. So I can say, well, my font family, I want to be Verdana. If that's not available, then Geneva. If that's not available, only then sans serif. So I can actually prioritize my list. So now let's see the output after these changes. Okay, so notice I wrote this on the heading 1. Let me decrease the size of it. So this is the current value, and as I refresh, this is the state of Wisconsin and Verdana. Okay. So with this list, currently, this is how my output looks like, which is state of Wisconsin sports. Okay. Now if I go ahead and say I do not want it to be Verdana, rather I want my default size for the H1 to be Century Gothic. Now notice it's being written a bit differently. Since it's a multi-word font name, that's why we've enclosed it in single quotes. So now you'll be able to see the difference. State of Wisconsin now appears like this. Okay, so now this is the effect that is being taken place for the font. Since this font is available, we're going to fall to that. If that font is not available, then whatever is the second choice. So here I have a font family, Palatino Linotype, which is also a multi-word. And now I can grab this and I can cut it, and I can take it to the generic property or a combined property for H1 and H2 so that they both have the same fonts. So now I will going to be displaying, so here both of them have the same font, Palatino Linotype. So this is the sports page. Now let me grab the geography page. Currently this is how it looks like. Okay, as I refresh, this will going to be the new output. And now let me grab the history page. This is how it looks like, and this is the new output. So this is how you can be controlling the font family of your pages. You don't have to memorize what fonts are available to you. There are so many websites out there that show you, that tell you how to use the fonts and what font families are available and what fonts are available and how to prioritize your font list, and so on and so forth. So anyway, these were some of the other items I wanted to introduce in this tutorial. So we looked at the font family, we looked at the font size, we looked at the line height, we looked at different ways of giving fonts, different ways of giving font families, we looked at text transform, we looked at letter spacing, and we looked at setting the font weight to normal and font variant. So anyway, catch you in the next tutorial where we take this project to the next step. Hope you would have enjoyed this tutorial. Catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching.